conference, but the intention at this stage is to appeal to our aspirants to participate in the process. If you start attacking the referee before the first whistle has been blown, then you are really talking about a situation where you are looking at forcing abandonment of a match, and we're not going to accept that coming from aspirants because it's not fair to the democratic process.
There's an incident which I'd like to mention. For example, I think it came from Embu. Number of registered voters in a polling station close to 1,000, but they only received one booklet for that polling station. One booklet only has 50. That's not 50%. That's like what, 5% or whatever. It's a very small number. It's like 5%. Now, we did work backwards to find out what happened. We found out that other polling stations got their delivery instead, so it is less. Now, if that polling station decided that for that reason they're going to call it off, this was a process that we were able to deal with within a matter of 30 minutes. It was moved from one polling station to the next polling station, and the process was able to continue. We're talking in terms of 122 constituencies, and there are different challenges at different places. I mean, for example, one of the stations said, look, we don't have lids for our ballot boxes. Now, when you talk in terms of tens of thousands of boxes which were delivered, and in the transport process some lids disappeared, then we've told them, assess the situation. If it is orderly, there's nothing wrong with placing the ballots in front of everybody when the lid is not closed. If a situation arises that is compromised, then we can be able to decide what to do next. Thank you very much. We'll take some questions.
You got more from Citizen TV.
Yes.
I'd like to get an idea from you about what's happening in particular counties. In Bomet, we had been told that there was no voting that was going on. We have a correspondent there. I don't know if the situation has changed. Officials claim that your office are not provided officials there with vehicles to transport materials. Can we get an update on that? In Kiambu, early on, we were told that party registers were missing. We were told that in Olwemeza High School, that's in Kajiado, we were told that the residents there had blocked lorries. We'd like to know that you've been able to resolve that situation. In addition, in Nandi, we were told that nominations had been called off, that even some returning officers had officially announced that we will not have nominations happening here today. What is the situation in those four counties?
Okay.
And what's in issue as well?
Okay. Now, part of the challenges we have, of course, this is the era of SMSs and WhatsApp and breaking news. We want to reiterate very, very sternly that no aspirant has the powers to call off a voting process. So any aspirant who has made that announcement, that is their own announcement. It is not the announcement of the party headquarters. And if they have called it off, they have called their own process off. Our process is continuing, and even if it is only 20 people who turn up, if we did not call it off, we will count those 20 votes and proceed. So they're doing it at their own risk, and please, it's important that this is communicated. I mean, we can't have anarchy, but any aspirant can call off voting in any particular place, because they have decided that 50% is not enough, while all our estimations in those areas is that they have never exceeded 35 to 40% in all previous. And I think you as media also know, even in by-elections, sometimes you have turnouts which is as low as 20%. This is fact. So when you have 50% and truly not everybody is a member of the party and therefore appears in the register of the party, there's no way by which we should print, like the IEBC, 100% of registered voters. All right? Then we have a backup mechanism. Everybody who turns up to vote, if by 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock or 3, 4, 5 hours of voting, we see we are running out, they're supposed to trigger the party backup mechanism. And as I said, for every county, actually every 2 counties, we have one chopper, which is able to intervene and ensure that materials are moved, say, from one ward to another ward, especially with respect to gubernatorial positions, because that you can exchange in any constituency within the county. If it is a constituency, you can exchange ballot papers from one ward to another. If it is ward, then it has to be within the ward. All those mechanisms are in place, because you may find there's a very high turnout in one ward, one polling station, and the next ward there's hardly any turnout. And we have systems to be able to manage that. But when aspirants decide that they're going to run the process according to the way they like, because that's what they've always done in the past, and that's how some of them got those positions in the past. I'm sorry, this time is going to be different, and if we have to postpone, we'll postpone, and we'll do exactly the same thing.
Can I speak to Ololoisa? Because that's a very specific question, and this is a very interesting situation. Ololoisa, due to delays in movement of our trucks, we had a consignment for a specific constituency. To avoid sending the lorry all the way to the county headquarters, we decided to send it directly to the constituency and told the returning officer, can you move to the constituency? What happened is this truck has been intercepted by aspirants and said they decided, how come it's not going to the place it's supposed to go? And there was a perfectly valid reason for it going through Ngong, because there was no time to now take it to county headquarters and then move it to constituency. They've intercepted it, blocked it by the road, made a judgment call by the roadside, and now the truck is surrounded by about 50 vehicles as I speak. We've engaged our security mechanism to answer your question and asked them to clear the way for that truck to move so that voting can proceed. But the point about this is you can see the judgment calls that are being made by aspirants on the ground, and sadly with electoral processes, it seems that we're operating from an air of inherent suspicion first, and then we move on to judge the process without even considering what the factors could possibly be. So that's the sort of thing that
let me just explain what that means. I think I'd like to make it very, very clear. Nakuru is the county headquarters of Nakuru County. When we are moving material to Nakuru, it is in principle agreed that they should go first of all to the county headquarters, then you can escalate them to the constituencies. But you understand how senseless it is that you move material from Nairobi and you take them to Nakuru, then drive them back to Naivasha and Gilgil constituencies. What you've done is that if it is going to Nakuru, yes, but if it's going to pass Naivasha, please offload the material for Naivasha, offload the material for Gilgil, then go to Nakuru. But what as some aspirants are insisting, no, they must go to Nakuru first, then bring them back. And when they find the offloading taking place in Naivasha, then they say, oh, rigging is going on, so we surround this vehicle and mob justice is going to prevail. I hope that makes it clear.
On that same note, before my colleagues ask another question, who is eligible to vote across the country? Because that has brought a lot of confusion in different regions. Can you clarify that?
We have made it very, very clear that we're using our membership register. That is the law. But to confirm that somebody is registered to vote in that particular polling station, because our membership register is not very accurate, because especially for those which were uploaded by using the smart card, it does not give details as to the polling station, and it has up to the ward. So we therefore use the IBC register just to double check, all right, that this person is supposed to vote here. So if you show up with your ID card and you're registered to vote in that particular polling station, we will not stop you from voting. And that is a message to all our POs and ROs if it has not been clear. Thank you. I like the way you pronounce your name. Andrew Cheng. Okay.
There has been harsh criticism by analysts and the voters who woke up very early in the morning to go and vote, but could not find that it was delivered on time. You yourselves have said that, I don't know if you learned from the opponents who had issues with the nominations, or whether you were just going to do better. What happened? Why didn't the polling station open on time when they were supposed to? And what did you tell your supporters who probably by now have given up and have gone back to their homes?
No, we like to apologize to those supporters, because as I told you, it is a logistical nightmare. I mean, when a vehicle has been hijacked in Naivasha when it was offloading, like has happened in Ngong, then this has led to some delays. The only place where there's been unfortunate delay and we've we have dealt with that in the best way we can. It's a place like Kiambu is closest to Nairobi. But if you notice, voting is taking place in Laikipia before it started in Nairobi. Why? We started with the far-off places to make sure that those far-off places were taken care of. In Kiambu, we can deploy very quickly to deal with it in the course of the day. And if somebody went to a voting station, he was not able to vote from 6 o'clock as we had intended, maybe you go back to work, you can go back at lunchtime, or you can go back at 5. We'll be ready to open. As long as you're in the station, we will not close before the last person in the station has been given a chance to vote. Yes, sir.
Patrick from the Standing
Come again?
Patrick?
Yes, go ahead, yes.
Now, there have been allegations that the party is using the IBC for 2013. So I just want to get a confirmation from you if that is true, and why did you resolve to use the 2013 register while there are a lot of new people who have registered recently? Then secondly, in North Rift, there have been reports that nominations were called off on grounds that some marked ballot papers were found, and they are currently in a police station, so the process has to be called off. So I also want information from you. And then lastly, it was in issue. The aspirants have said that you had a consensus yesterday and agreed that due to some delay, the process will be called off to another date. But then they have confirmed this morning that you've said the process is going on. So they are complaining that that is against their will because they had agreed that the process will be postponed.
Okay. This is where the problem is, and I want to tell you, we're having this press conference right now. As we're talking, there is more information coming in which I may not have been familiar with. We are ready to have a press conference every 2 hours, and we'll be giving an update to everyone. Now, just to talk about marked ballot papers, I've not had that. You're telling me for the first time. But I'll tell you an incident yesterday in Embu. One of the very senior politicians called me like 7-8 times when I woke up this morning, and I wondered, he's not such a friend, so why is he calling me so many times? And then I found out that there was a claim that one of the opponents was actually at a certain hotel marking papers, and they wanted us to catch that person live. He organized a whole contingent of police. The place was broken into. No ballot papers were found. So politicians are making all kinds of claims against their opponents, and it's not fair. We have investigated every case of ballot papers being marked in advance. Needless to say that it is only the party headquarters which knew which serial numbers of ballot papers were going to which polling station. So that was a safety measure that we put in place so as we would detect any cheating. But I'm not saying it cannot happen. People can be very creative. I mean, we send a lorry with the vehicle, with the ballot papers. We've given them a police person to make sure that, not police person, but our person from the headquarters to make sure that they arrive safely. We have ways of ensuring that this does not happen, but it can happen. But the one you're talking about is the very first one I've heard about, and if you give me details, we'd like to investigate. The other one is the 2013 register. Now, whatever IBC register we are using is the latest one that we were able to download from the system. And it is really for confirmation purposes. If somebody is in our register, we allow them to vote. Just to check that that is the place where they should vote, we check that again using the IBC register. But our POs and ROs may have to make a last call. If, say, for example, the ID card shows this is their sub-location, they have not been imported from another polling station. This is the sub-location where they belong to, so this should be their polling places, not from another county, not from another constituencies, not from another ward. Then, our officers are under instructions that they should allow that person to vote. Yes. I think I'll take 2 more because we have to go back to our work desks and find out what has happened. Thank you. What? Yes? Yes.
The circular you sent on Tuesday to all the presiding officers, aspirants and the agents was very clear.
Yes.
So in light of what happened in the morning, will we expect any disciplinary action?
Where it is just a genuine mistake, you don't want to punish people for nothing. You make your plans, a vehicle has broken down, it has rained, the vehicles got stuck and so forth. That's okay, we can deal with that. But where it is clear that somebody was trying to subvert the process, we will take action. Yes.
There's a question on a matter raised by our reporters on the ground, is that in Jororok, that is in Nyandarua County, where you said that the voting has already started. We are told that some locals can't find a polling station, and they have resorted to voting at private homes, a private home. And the second question is in Laikipia. You've also stated that voting is taking place there, but we are told that there have been angry youths in Laikipia have banned some polling ballot papers. I don't know that you have any.
No, I don't have that information, but that a whole area has found it fit to say that they cannot locate an IBC registered polling station. Well, we have too many con artists, so I don't really see how a private home can be turned into a polling center. We'll monitor that and find out.
Yes. Don't you feel that the reports we are receiving is tarnishing the name of the Jubilee nominations process? It had been touted as one of the best. In fact, it was supposed to happen on one day. The process has been staggered, but unfortunately the reports we're receiving from the counties are not in any way encouraging. Are you happy with the process?
No, I will not. I cannot say I'm 100%. No, I cannot say I'm happy. That's to be honest with you, because the thing is that there are too many hitches. I didn't expect so many hitches. As long as I'm able to detect that these are genuine mistakes, no acts of sabotage or weaknesses in terms of those who are charged with the responsibility. I'll give you. I'll just give you an example. We were loading some boxes from a go down. The person who was given the responsibility to ensure that the loading is done employed 30 people. He was supposed to employ 100 people. Of course, that delayed everything. But for such people, we have taken disciplinary action. Some people have lost jobs. But unfortunately, by the time they're losing their job, they have missed some aspects of the process. Okay, I think aspirants are very right to worry that if the number of ballot papers is 50% of the registered number of voters in a specific polling station, their first worry is that where's the other 50%? Could that 50% be with my opponents? Those are valid questions for aspirants to ask, and some of them have actually called us and asked those questions, and we have assured them what was delivered has got numbers, serial numbers, from whatever number to a certain number, and we have asked them even to take photographs of them. Start the voting process. If by the end of, say, 3 or 4 hours, all of a sudden these numbers have run out, unless you get another set of materials which are numbered, which are credible, then the mistake will belong to the headquarters, and we'll be ready to deal with it and take full ownership of the mistake. What we cannot have is a situation in which aspirants say, me, I think 50% is not enough. What are you basing that on? There are certain areas where we've had primaries before, and the turnout was less than 20%. So for those areas, we have been given a headroom of another 30% on top. But if, say for example, it goes to 51 or 55%, then definitely the mistake is ours. But that you know at 5 o'clock. You don't start in advance and say, from the way I see these numbers, hizi vita zitatosha, kwa hivyo tuanzi. Don't try. Thank you very much.